Our social media has been flooded with pictures of Christmas trees and people decorating them, and there's pressure from the young person within my own house to put up a tree soon. So I've begun to think about what sort of tree to get this year. And then last Saturday at the parish coffee morning on Zoom, Father Bob was talking about an ancient yew tree in the vicarage garden. And it reminded me of a book I'd been meaning to finish, The Hidden Life of Trees. It's been fascinating to learn about how trees connect with each other through their root systems, exchanging nutrients, distributing information and resources. Even different tree species are in contact with one another, and even when they regard each other as competitors. And the root systems of the oldest tree stumps can live on aided by other family members. There is a lot of communication happening below the ground. When a seed falls from a tree, its landing site can be changed only if the wind blows or an animal moves it. And once it has sprouted, the die is cast. From that point onwards, the seedling is bound to that little piece of earth for the rest of its life, and it must take whatever life hands out. Often the place where a seed happens to end up turns out to be highly unsuitable. It is either too dark or too bright. Marshy floors rot the roots, whereas in dry, sandy soil they die of thirst. Good soil, good ground is the key to survival. And the yew tree has an interesting story. It is the epitome of frugality and patience. Right from the beginning, it puts considerably more energy into building up its root system than other species of trees. Here it stashes away nutrients, and if misfortune strikes above the ground, it grows right back without missing a beat. The yew does not strive to compete and reach great heights and show off, but can live for 1,000 years or more, and yew trees are among the oldest living things in Europe. And the wood of a mature yew is amazingly strong because of its habit of slow growth. Historically, under the yew has been a place where people congregated to preach, and the tree itself has been the subject of great poets like Tennyson and Wordsworth. Both turned to that tree to express their grief. It's interesting that one species of yew, the Irish yew, is shaped like a closed umbrella, and it tends to look upwards rather than downwards, as though called into being by God. What I enjoy most about trees is not what happens above the ground, but below it. All the relationships, the interconnectedness, the sharing of resources, the importance of a good root system determined by good soil. Because all of this strikes me as essential to Christian living. With the yew tree, there is no making shortcuts to get out of relationship. Now there is a living thing in it for the long haul, patiently building and growing. God calls creation to form us. God calls the yew tree into being, and calls us all into being, to be human, really and fully alive, because we are attached to the rootstock that is Christ, and the root system is Christian fellowship, a thing between people and God, between people and people, distributing information, sharing resources, interconnected. Trees have a lot to teach us about being fully human and fully a child of God, about getting the most out of life and getting the most out of our resources. And a species like the yew spends almost an eternity doing what it was made to do, living in communion, being connected, looking upwards, answering fully that call into being.